This Knife Thoughts video, we're looking at this knife, and this is the Ryder Pastel Assisted Flipper. And if you haven't yet, check out my article on this knife at my blog, knifethoughts.com. If you go to the blog section, or you can just type in knifethoughts.com/blog, and it'll take you right to the articles. This is a knife that I got just because of how different it looks. So it's from Ryder, and if you're unfamiliar with Ryder, it is a brand owned and produced by Smoky Mountain Knife Works. They're actually manufactured overseas, probably by more than one manufacturing outfit, but it's a brand owned by Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Now, currently, in February of 2019, they've actually changed the name. They say back to Ryder with a Y instead of an I in the Ryder. But this knife was produced when they were using kind of the correct spelling of Ryder. So interesting little tidbit. The actual model number is RR1989. I don't know if that's a purposeful thing because of the color scheme here, but it's an interesting knife. So first off, it's a really inexpensive knife from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, which unfortunately was the only place I could find this knife right now. It seems like they're probably pretty low on these. I'm not sure on that, but a lot of other Ryder knives you can find on eBay and even sometimes other places like that. I pretty much can only find this one on Smoky Mountain Knife Works website, but it's $6.99 on their website plus shipping, so under $10. And that's pretty inexpensive as a knife goes. Now, it didn't actually say as it does on Ryder's traditional knives anywhere on the box or on the blade, as you can see, that this is 440A steel, but that's what all the other Ryders are basically. So I'm assuming that that's what the steel is on this, but I'm not 100% sure. It is an assisted flipper, like I said. So you can see that it has a liner lock, and I've noticed that this liner lock doesn't lock up quite as far across or as solidly if you don't open it with a solid flip. So if maybe that was a solid flip, you can see that it goes pretty far across, about 50%. But if I were to open it by pulling it open like so, it tends to lock up a little less, as you can see, more like 20%, 10% even. So that's something to be aware of. I did see on Smoky Mountain Knife Works' website that someone said the lock failed, and sometimes the lock will fail if I open it slowly like that for me, but not all the time, as you can see. And I found that if you flip it open, it locks up pretty solidly and isn't going to slip off of the lock face there for you. As you can see, it does open pretty easily. Definitely a light switch style flipper, but locks up well. It didn't come with any blade play, either forward and back or side to side. It did come off center, so you can see that it's off center. I think the blade is actually not straight, but it's off center pretty significantly towards the non-clip side. And it doesn't rub the liners or anything like that, but still something to be aware of. But like I said, and it has a speaking of the clip, it has a tip down only. I think it's supposed to be for right hand carry. Well, it's for right hand carry, but it depends how you like to carry a knife. But it's a tip down only clip, and it can only be used on the one side. But the biggest thing about this knife, the reason why I got it, is the colors, right? So it's very bright pastel colors with a canary yellow clip, neon pink handle, and then a sky blue blade. And I've never seen a sky blue blade before. Maybe on some of Microtech's Star Wars inspired knives, but that's pretty much it. Certainly not on something under $10, and I don't think I've ever seen a yellow clip before. So kind of interesting, and I like this color scheme. I think that they might not be the most tactical, but I don't think you're buying this knife to be an an operator, right? Buying it because it's an interesting, funny looking knife. And honestly, beyond the colors, which the colors are nice, I think that the coating is relatively durable. It's not certainly anywhere near as durable as something like DLC or Cerakote, but relatively durable. Now you can see that some of it came off, and that's from me putting some thread locker on the screws. So I think that that's more of a chemical thing than a durability thing, but that was kind of interesting. But as for the design itself, I actually really like it. So if you check out the pictures on my Knife Thoughts article, you'll see that it's, you know, not a small knife. It's relatively big. It's around the size of a Spyderco Native 5. And it has a relatively similar blade shape also. You can see that it's kind of a leaf shape towards a spear, towards a drop point. So kind of an amalgamation of different blade shapes, but a useful blade shape. You know, you get a good amount of point, has a swedge, as you can see, you know, up here, and you know, some belly and some straight edge. So pretty usable blade shape. I haven't used it a whole lot, but on the use that I've done, it seems to cut relatively well. I mean, coatings usually make a knife not go through cardboard quite as well because it kind of is tacky and catches, but as a coated knife goes, it seems ground, you know, thin enough to at least use it, you know. And as for the handle, I like the handle actually. So this thumb ramp, and you can see the corresponding cutout of the handle, and then this finger divot here really line up well for me. So my thumb really sits into that thumb ramp comfortably. My finger sits into the divot comfortably, and really make for a good kind of you know, thumb on the spine grip. You can also certainly have a pinch grip, which is probably the most used grip for me. And if you wanted to really, you know, get a hammer grip, you could do that. But you could see that I get about 3.5 fingers. So my pinky does kind of hang off the side, but because of the nice simple handle design, you know, it's a comfortable handle. So overall, I think, you know, if you want a knife but you want it to be really brightly colored and really pop out at you with the color scheme, but still be able to use it, you know, and not have to pay too much money, I think that this can be a good option. Now, the thing with these Rough Ryder knives is that there's certainly more variation in quality across the same, you know, different specific knives of the same model than, you know, a more higher end knife. You might get a better one than I did with, you know, better centering, or you might get a worse one that doesn't open quite as well, or that has, you know, lock slippage, like someone said on Smoky Mountain Knife Works' website. But it's hard to tell, and at least judging by this one that I've gotten, it's a knife that you can use without worrying about it because it's a low price knife, and have something interesting that looks different than your typical tactical modern knife. So I think that, you know, it's an interesting little knife. It's one that I you know, wanted to get just because I like this color scheme. And if it's something that you like, if you like this color scheme, if you like knives that are different looking, I would say give this one a try. Check it out. And again, check out my article on this knife at knifethoughts.com. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. If you want to get updates for when I post new videos, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I always appreciate it and try to answer all of the comments. And don't forget to go out and do good.